Barrow and Mark Mohammed agreed that the women's rights were breached and they should be compensated for the time they were kept out of the country. The women, Rihanna Lorick and Joanne Pantin, were represented by Senior Counsel Anand Logan and Dinell Singh, while Senior Counsel Russell Martineau represented the state. The appeal court judges found there was a duty by the state to disclose the measure and used to allow citizens back into the country. They ruled that not only should the state compensate the women for the period they were left out of the country, their legal costs should also be borne by the state. Following the judgment, Ram Logan told CNC3 News it showed the inefficiencies in the then government's COVID-19 policy and called for an investigation into how the pandemic was handled.
This judgment vindicates their rights by saying that the state treated them in an unjust and unfair manner in breach of their constitutional rights. There was no transparency by the government in how they approached the question of reopening the borders and who would get to come in first and how they would manage that process. It was shrouded in mystery, secrecy, and obscure, and it was very obscure. And it provided fertile soil for favoritism, political nepotism, and unfair and unjust treatment.
Those were your 6 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update for you at the top of the hour, right here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network.
Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.
Good Tuesday morning, running into a brand new day. Today, Tuesday, the 30th of September, 2025. Welcome to the Morning Brew. Jason Williams signing on. I'm here with the truly amazing team, and we keep you covered with all the news, all the happenings, local, regional, international. We go until 8 a.m., and there is lots to unpack this morning, so much so the representative for the prison service, their president, is going to join me via the Zoom line to discuss what's on the Trinidad and Tobago's front page, the Guardian front page. And yet again, drones being utilized to bring contraband and other items into the prison. However, this time around, their grand plan would have been halted. I would say quick work, being attentive, and being able to deploy. I would say officers here in this particular case, they were able to tap into the scenario. And by all means, well, drone drop blocked. Drone drop blocked. 3 suspects held 50 meters from prison, contraband seized, and that is the latest. And to get some details, Gerard Gordon, president of the Prison Officers Association, will treat with this security breach, this latest security breach, and the post-SOE arrangement and the closure of the prisons. We heard of at least public utterances from the Minister of Homeland Security and others speaking towards the closure, the much anticipated closure. That place should have been closed years ago. We're talking about the Port of Spain prison. So all that's dealing with the prison service. We will get a chance to get the latest this morning when Officer Gordon joins me. But again, I mean, imagine, right outside the prison, look what men trying to smuggle in. We're looking at cigarettes here, lighters, you name it. They're trying to get it over the wall. And I mean, that's a real, I won't lie, that is a belly move, you know. Your belly need to be made of steel. You literally park up in a car in the bushes somewhere outside the prison. You have your goggles or probably using your line of sight. This drone is over the wall. Now, the question is, the maneuvering needs to be pinpoint to get it, I would imagine, to a cell where a man could put his hand out through the bar and get the said contraband. I mean, that is a really, I mean, I'm not applauding the action of the criminal element. Officers would have done well, but just think of the kind of expertise and the intricate kind of planning and detail and the precision flying that takes place for that kind of operation to be successful. These guys are using the talent for the wrong reason. We should send these men, train these men, and send these men. It have drone championships outside, you know, where you have people with goggles and they're flying the drone through all kind of maze and come on. A lot of people using the talent for the wrong reason. So we'll get some details. Officer Gordon joins me on the Zoom line later on this morning. What's going on with the missing teacher? Well, he's found safe. He's safe in a hotel. So what? His phone was off. He didn't realize that all over social media, all over the papers. Let's put this up full page because this leaves more questions than answers. All down to the mayor of Chaguanas went out on a limb talking about, oh gosh, thing, and let's you know, we're looking at the crime situation here in the Central, and lo and behold, Kumal Maharaj was in the Piarco Touchdown Hotel. Just, well, from what they're saying here, like he was just relaxing. And, well, I mean, come on, listen, I'm not going to make any suggestions. I go in based on what I'm seeing in the papers. We all have imaginations, and we all could, I guess, go into that place to try and figure out what was going on there. But nonetheless, what is a bit alarming about this scenario, remember this man was, well, really kidnapped last year. Even that particular scenario, there were certain questions, again, that would have needed some serious answers, because the claims that he escaped by swimming from Venezuela into local waters, people had certain questions about that. But he was found alive last year. His family, obviously, were very happy. And from what I'm seeing in the papers, he's very close to his daughter. And, you know, we have to consider that family members, when stuff like this takes place, you send your family into a mental turmoil. It's a psychological and emotional and physical strain that no one wants to put their family under. And again, this is quite a bizarre story, but nonetheless, he is safe. Well, teacher, I hope that, you know, nothing like this takes place again. And you know, even if you're making any little, sometimes people just want to plug out, you know. Not disputing that. Sometimes you just want to plug out, get away from everybody, go somewhere and just, you know, zone out. But sometimes it's important to, I think, sometimes it is imperative to let your family, or at least somebody, a close friend, know, here we're going on all year. I'm plugging out for a couple of days. I'll catch you on the rebound next week. Can't be that people trying to contact you, can't find you, nobody know where you are, and you know, obviously in this kind of time and with the current climate of Trinidad and Tobago, naturally people's mind will go into a dark place, and the suspicion would be a kidnapping, some kind of foul play. So this again, very, very interesting story. It's on page 5. I mean, he's all smiles there, but I don't think the family's smiling this morning. Naturally, they're glad he's back home, but somebody whom will have a serious discussion has to listen. Don't do with that now. Please, you just, I mean, where's got a hotel to do, folks? Me, I go to, well, on travels and stuff, that's where you rest your head. But locally, I can't say locally, I've just picked up myself and go to a hotel, you know. All right, well, that's me. I mean, we have folks here who might, you know, have other plans, but none, again, I'll leave it there for now. Let's head to, before the back page, a very interesting development, and it's one I need to applaud those from the, well, Foreign Affairs Ministry and others within the government to make this one happen. Now, remember, they said there would have been certain side meetings with other countries during our UN visit last week. Well, I can safely say it's on page 9. TNT signs visa-free waiver with the United Arab Emirates. That's Dubai, Abu Dhabi, all these different parts there. It's 5 Emirates that make up that country, and well, most people go to either Abu Dhabi or Dubai. And I can recall going there in 2019, I had to fill out a long form. You print it, it's on a piece of paper, literally, and that's what you present when you meet their first line of defense, which will be, of course, the immigration officers. So you present your passport and your paper with the visa that they will have to approve. So it was a little tedious. You had to, you know, fill out this stuff, take picture. I remember to go to the next line. I went through. It wasn't really easy for me getting in the border. They put me. I don't know why me per se, as opposed to everybody else on the trip. But I had to actually wait for quite a while. They sent me down to some officer in the back. It was a whole run around. So this, at least from on a personal note, I'm happy that we could just now present the passport and get into the zone. So that's a good look. That story here is on page 9. And all, of course, well, stakeholders outline fears, and concerns about the budget. Again, many anticipate the budget date. We should hear from the ministry or the Minister of Finance sometime this week. Some even anticipate as early as tomorrow. And many are touting next Monday as budget day. Again, we don't know just yet, but we could safely say it is going to take place in the month of October, and we stand by. Let's head to the back page. You couldn't believe, I mean, you could make this up. We lost to Nepal again? Come on, don't do me that. As I mentioned yesterday, right, it's not like we're going to put Nepal on that bus and look at them as a shakedown team, and clearly we can't after this series loss. But you see it on paper. You're thinking West Indies with our proud legacy, our rich history, the quality players. I mean, granted, yes, some newbies are on the team, some men making the debut, but we have established players there. We have the Bishops, we have, I think it's Hope inside there too. We have some top-notch men, Hussein. So you're telling yourself, hey, men now come off the CPL, there's a rhythm. Men have the, you have that muscle memory, you're kind of in the zone. And I really, if I was a betting man, I would have lost a lot of money because I will not or could not anticipate that Nepal will beat us. And hear this, by 90 runs too, a convincing win. This is quite a time for West Indies cricket, and it's, wow, clearly a moment for seriously rebuilding. I'm aghast. I can't believe it. Nepal, you're thinking there's food, you're thinking it's a foregone conclusion. But that's sports for you. It's who wants it on the day. Let's head to the brief. Miss Belmont is crowned. Congratulations to newly crowned Miss Belmont, Sarah Lee Morris. She takes her first walk after winning the Miss Belmont Queen pageant. It took place at the Belmont Community Center on Saturday. I was actually called to host this, and I had another engagement, and I always enjoy going out to give these pageants a support. I recognize the good it does. It gives these young women opportunity to tap into their potential, and many winners, and even those who might not have gone all the way to get the crown, use the platform to get into sometimes media, into fields within the arts, marketing, you name it. It's really a nice step, and I want to wish Sarah Lee Morris the very best. Congratulations, and to all the delegates who went up for the Miss Belmont 2025. Also, climate change is the modern day Ravana, and of course that is a nice write-up here. Sasha Wilson gave that story here. Well, she put forward that story inside today's Guardian. It's on page 3. As mentioned, Prison Officer Gordon, in charge of their association, he's going to join me on the Zoom line to break down the latest. We're talking security breach post-SOE and what's up with the closure. And after the closure, what's the game plan? Where is earmarked as the new prison when they put forward, obviously, a new building to house the inmates? Officer Gordon, he's up next.
People come to me and they say they get discomfort when they have ice cream. Sensodyne gives you long-lasting protections against sensitivity. I recommend Sensodyne because it works. It's brilliant.
Whether you're an athlete, a business professional, or simply someone who values their health, Omega XL can empower you to keep doing what you love. Don't let joint discomfort hold you back.
Live long, stay strong with the XL brand. Muscle Russell.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services. We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance, but we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, Endeavour, Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon. Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
President of the Prison Officers Association, Gerard Gordon, joins me via the Zoom line. Officer Gordon, always a pleasure to see you. I guess the circumstance this morning, I wouldn't even say bizarre. It's after commendations to yourself and officers from the TTPS for cracking on what would have been a major breach yesterday. But again, lots of matters to discuss as we get into the issues surrounding the prison service this morning. Officer Gordon, welcome.
Yeah. Morning, Jason. Morning to your viewers.
So walk us through it. I know obviously it will have to go into investigation, so certain intimate details I know will not be able to. What I will say is that, we have been speaking about this drone issue, and I know for a lot of the time it sort of passes over people's head, but this drone issue is a very serious one for us. Drones have been racking up frequent flyer miles at that same Port of Spain prison, at the maximum security prison. They have been used. We would have even seen where reports would have come out of, I think it was Tetron, that the personnel down there would have intercepted a drone at some point in time. The thing about it is that technology is advancing at a very crazy rate, and we seem very hard pressed to keep pace with what is happening with these type of technologies. But I too would want to commend all the officers involved for the action yesterday, swift action, and their ability to intercept. What we have been advocating for are a number of countermeasures, which I hope will be making their way soon to our environment. We have things like geofencing, we have drone guns, not gun in the sense of projectile guns, but there are equipment that could intercept signals. They could cause the drone to fall out of the sky. They could also call the drone to a preset location, take over control of the drone. So there are a number of countermeasures that are available internationally, because certainly this issue of drones using within the prison. When I say within the prison, it is not only in Trinidad and Tobago. Well,
it's international.
No, well, Officer Gordon, I mean, you all definitely need to be up to the time with the technology, because naturally, even to put a drone up in that vicinity because of the proximity to the airport, DJI and all these different companies have built in, blockers within their system where literally you cannot, there is a big red map showing the area, and you can't. So these men clearly override that. So whatever you're doing.
What I'll tell you, Jason, is that particular thing has DJI no longer supports that sort of technology built into their drones. That would have happened, I think, in January of this year. So there's no longer that restriction on their drones. They stopped that earlier this year, yeah.
Okay, so you can literally fly anywhere now?
You can literally fly anywhere. So it is now incumbent upon the particular area that is under the control of the prison, the airport, for them to employ the necessary countermeasures to avoid, for the airport will be mid-air collision, and for us would certainly be to stop and stymie this the illicit trade in unauthorized articles.
So let me ask, what's the protocol? If you all didn't find these men clearly either, well, I don't know if they were in a car, if they're in the bushes. I mean, based on the report, they're saying 50 meters from the prison, so clearly within proximity to the prison perimeter fence. If these men were not found yesterday, what's the protocol? Is it allowed to shoot this out of the air? Once you could visibly see a drone in the prison space moving towards a wall, clearly with a hand reaching out of a bar to collect whatever's being dropped off by the drone, what do you all do?
The thing about it is that we do try our best. There are a number of officers who, that is basically what they do at some of our facilities. But the frequency of those flights by those drones and those individuals is so much that we cannot and we have been unable to capture all of the drones that have been traversing the airways. Sometimes we see a drop and we are able to intercept. Sometimes we see the drop, we are unable to intercept, and then we have to go and search and hopefully recover whatever was attempted or brought in to the prison space. One of the things that we have to do, we would have strengthened our legislative part with Act 25 of 2019, which went on to clearly define even further what are unauthorized articles, and to speak to increased penalties for people who attempt to traffic, because this is trafficking. Because when you look at what trafficking is, they say the bringing in or carrying out of unauthorized articles and illegal articles from the prison space. So it is our hope that, notwithstanding the marijuana and the cocaine that was reported that these gentlemen had, that they are also charged under the Act 25 of 2019.
Let me ask Officer Gordon, as we move on to post-SOE arrangements, what's going to happen to some of the high-profile prisoners being held up there in Arima, opposite Santa Rosa, and more so some of the men who are being held in military bases and all that kind of stuff that happened and transpired during the SOE? What's the latest in that regard?
Well, we always have to remember that we have different class of inmates or detainees, and we don't want to mix up that. So we have convicted inmates, of course, people who would have gone before the court and they would have been given a sentence. We have remanded individuals, which unfortunately for us is about 3/4 or just about of the entire prison population in Trinidad and Tobago. And then under the SOE, we have detainees. Now, some of these detainees have not been charged with anything. When you look, there's a detention order. We see this preventative detention order. That in itself solely comes out of the powers that the minister has under the SOE. So once the SOE ends, and none of the individuals are charged officially with any other offense, then they would have to be released.
Understood. So the ones already waiting for a case, waiting for their day in court,
yes.
Right, high-profile men in the military base, what's going to be their scenario? They're going to stay there or they're back in the prison system?
Well, once again, the minister would have deemed those sites a prison. If we remember, the Santa Rosa prison, the Eastern Correctional Rehabilitation Center, also came about out of an SOE, and it remained under the control of the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service. The minister never rolled back on having that place deemed a prison. So it is left up to me. I think that question would be better asked to the Minister of Homeland Security as to what would happen after the SOE and those particular facilities that are being used on the military base.
Interesting you mentioned the Minister of Homeland Security. I remember one of his early statements when taking office was to deem Port of Spain's prison there, remand yard, null and void, defunct, past its life cycle. And we all know this. Yes. That's a 2-century-old building. What's the latest? Are we hearing of closures to that facility? We're hearing Carrera might also be in the mix. And more so, where's earmarked for this new prison location? What's the latest you're hearing concerning the closures?
Well, what I will say is that I know that they are making plans. The plans are being made to facilitate those numbers of inmates who are at Port of Spain prison currently.
What's the population there? What's the number of prisoners there? You have an idea? Like over 1,000, over 2,000?
Average. No. The population hasn't been that for a while. It's probably on average probably about 500, 550 floating somewhere in between there.
Okay.
Right? And then, you have the breakdown of those who are uncondemned, the convicted, and then the remanded population. The thing about it is that for us, I have not, and I know I'm saying this again, and I hope the minister listening, we have not met to date, and but we are looking at that fenced area south of the maximum security prison. The land space in there, it could probably hold MSP about 3.5 times all of the buildings. So there is enough room there. They don't have to look at having to put up a perimeter fence that would have already been done. Incidentally, at a cost of almost $100 million was spent on that fenced area. All the infrastructure, lighting, the fence, the booths, all of that is already done. So with some retrofitting and possibly use of some modular type design, certainly I am seeing that area could be easily utilized to construct a brand new remand facility.
Understood. What you want to say to your fellow officers this morning as we wrap things up?
We're going through a tough time. We had a number of officers passing away recently, one last night. So prison officers going through a really tough time as we speak. We have a number of officers resigning the position, and that is on top of officers who are quickly approaching their retirement date. And we have not had a recruitment going on 6 years now. So the prison, the mood is not good at all. It's a tough time for prison officers. I still want to encourage, my brothers and sisters, that as we continue to engage the space, we continue to do our best. But I think we need some relief, and somehow we don't seem to see any relief on the horizon anytime soon.
Well, Officer Gordon, you always have a safe space here. You could feel free, touch base, and let the wider public know all the concerns. As we wrap things up, finally, your budget wish list. We know budget is carded for next month. If you could speak right now with the Finance Minister, what will be your wish list for the prison service?
Wish list would be, one, we have a number of monies owed to officers. Some arrears going way back to 2011. That is arrears are overtime. Two, the whole outfitting of not just the facilities, but the officers. We have no uniforms. We still have, notwithstanding recently getting, I think, 5 vehicles, it was. We still have no functioning ambulance. Just simply a whole retrofitting. The maximum security prison is not as it should be. I will dare say that it's bursting at the seams and it's falling apart. There's a lot of work to be done. And one of the things that is a burden to us is the fact that our Commissioner of Prisons is not an accounting officer, similar to how the police commissioner is. So he or she who occupies that space is unable to spend any money at a moment's notice to rectify any emergency. They just don't have that leeway. They have to go through the permanent secretary. They have to make requests to the ministry. And what we are finding is that in itself is placing us in a position where we are unable to really effect the sort of changes to the environment to improve our lot and our circumstances in a timely manner. So there is a whole lot that I would wish for. And certainly I'm not leaving out the fact that our salaries certainly need some attention. So I'm looking forward. I know that the Minister of Finance is not, certainly has his ears on the ground. And I remain hopeful that this budget, although we know the challenges financially that the nation is currently going through, I am looking for ways and avenues with which we certainly should be able to meet some of these challenges.
Thank you as always, Officer Gordon. We'll touch base soon. All the best.
Okay, Jason, thanks.
Speaking about the budget, we will get into that discussion next with Dax Driver. He is the CEO and President of Energy Chamber of Trinidad and Tobago. We are dealing with the energy sector. Some of the utterances we heard coming out of the UN and new engagements with partners in the Middle East and further afield. So let's get some details. The Energy Outlook, Budget 2025-2026. Dr. Dax Driver up next.
Get the best at Southern Food Basket. Broccoli, $17.95 per pound. Carrots, 3 packs for $19.95. Iceberg lettuce, $19.95 each. Chicken breast tenders, 5 pounds for $149.95. Chicken wings, 1 kg, $34.95. Swiss pasta cuts, 300 grams, 4 for $19.95. Coke, Fanta, Schweppes, Sprite, 2 liters, 2 for $19.95. Available at Southern Food Basket at St. Charles Village, Princestown, SS Erin Road, Pinal, Southern Main Road, Point Fortin, Coffee Street, San Fernando.
Do you have multiple loans with high installments? Is that weighing you down? Police Credit Union has the solution for you. Merge all your commitments into one manageable payment, affordable interest rate, and a comfortable loan repayment term. Break free from those shackles with our Free Yourself Debt Consolidation Loan. Let PCU be the key to your financial freedom. Apply for a Free Yourself loan today. All loans are subject to normal lending criteria. Police Credit Union, your future is safe with us.
Seeing her succeed makes me proud, and I know I made the right choice by giving her Enfogrowth since she was little. Knowing that 85% of brain growth will occur by age 3, Enfogrowth's blend of ingredients such as DHA helps support your toddler's brain development and contains 22 nutrients to support their diet or nutrition. Enfogrowth, what you do today will last forever. This product is not intended to be a substitute or complement to breast milk.
Attention all listeners, are you ready for the ultimate news experience? Introducing the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, the nation's first and most subscribed newspaper. We deliver where others can't. With the widest delivery network in TNT, you can have the Guardian delivered right to your doorstep or office every single day. Take advantage of our special annual subscription offer so you can stay on top of the leading stories even when you're on the go. Sign up today. Time is running out. Inquire about our 3-month and 6-month packages as well.
Whether live in the studio or on the Zoom line, Dr. Dax Driver, he always brings a perspective when we treat and talk about the energy product and our potential. Of course, Budget 2025-2026 is around the corner, and as we know, much will be pegged and be leaning towards that particular industry. Let's bring Dr. Driver into the discussion this morning as we unpack and more or less try to get the wish list from the energy sector. Budget 2025-2026. Dr. Driver, good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Always a pleasure. Before we get into the energy outlook, I know we are looking at developments. We are monitoring developments. We heard last week that out of the UN meetings, our representatives and folks from Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, even further afield in China would have had discussions. Are you excited at all with some of the prospects, with some of the meetings that are going on, and could this potentially bring some boost to our energy sector in the long term, obviously?
Yeah, well, it's always great to know that the government is speaking to potential major investors from all around the world. There continues to be a lot of investment opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago, so it's great to know that those discussions are happening, and we just await some further details to see exactly what will come out of those discussions. But of course, it's always positive.
Of course, we're looking at the Balancing Act, Trinidad and Tobago being able to navigate, obviously, between traditional oil and gas and pursuing a transition to cleaner, renewable energy sources, green hydrogen, and of course offshore wind. Where are we when it comes to that balance, that striking the balance part of it?
Yeah, so from our perspective, both of these things support each other. They're mutually two things we need to happen. So it's not so much like a balance that you have to reduce one to increase the other, that they both can increase. So we need to see growth both in the traditional oil and gas sector, and growth to increase our gas production in particular, and our oil production as well. And at the same time, pursuing these renewable energy sources, energy efficiency. So those are both things which need to happen. Green hydrogen is very exciting. It's a way of taking renewable energy and turning it into the petrochemical products, which we are so famous for, and which we're major world exporters, particularly of ammonia. So that's something which we have been very, very supportive of, and it'd be great to see that project, the New Gen project, actually progress through to final investment decision. So we hope that's going to happen in the near future.
What are the implications when we consider the recent deep water exploration deals? Again, any kind of ease in the short, medium term?
The deep water exploration programs, it's fantastic for the country that we've seen this renewed interest in Trinidad and Tobago from Exxon. Exxon were here decades ago, and they're coming back with this major project looking in the deep water. They're going to be looking for oil primarily. This is really what that would make most sense for them, from that very deep, ultra deep water way out to the east of Trinidad, out into the Atlantic Ocean, which is the blocks which they now have an exploration license for. We've seen then also in the most recent bid round a bid from CNOOC, the Chinese national oil company, for deep water acreage as well. So that it's obviously going to go through the process with the ministry, and hopefully we'll be able to sign production sharing contracts with CNOOC and see them also explore that. They are a joint venture partner with Exxon in Guyana, so they know the region, they know the geology. So hopefully they're seeing something there which is worth exploring. And then with the other company who put a bid in the most recent deep water bid round, we don't really know very much about them. So we'll await further details to hear about that company. And then the exploration campaign from the previous bid round continues. BP and Shell are both exploring in deep water off Trinidad's east coast. So hopefully they will progress through and drill some wells there, and hopefully we'll get a find. The areas where they are exploring, could be oil developments or could be natural gas developments tied back into the existing infrastructure as well. So those are all very positive things. That they are a little way off still. There is one major gas project off in the deep waters off between Tobago and Barbados, which we hope is going to be moving towards an investment decision as well. That's the Calypso project, which was with Woodside and BP. So we're waiting to hear further news about that, and hoping for positive news about that project, and that can move to final investment decision as well. the key is to see these projects moving through the cycle, from an exploration campaign to then hopefully commercial discovery, then be able to take an investment decision, and then be able to develop and produce that natural gas. So we are seeing a lot of projects working through that cycle. We just need more and more and more of those if we're going to increase both our oil and our gas production.
In terms of job creation, because obviously lots of this is still very much in the planning phases, they're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. What's a timeline? How soon could we really see a turn of good fortune, a wheel within our economic structure moving forward with these deals and some job creation happening?
Well, I think the key is it's important to understand that the energy sector is not a major job generator for the country in terms of pure numbers of jobs, particularly in the upstream sector, and really for those major deep water projects, which I was just talking about, you're looking really at with the Exxon project, 5 years or more, before you get into production. Certainly more than 5 years, in fact, because they have to get the exploration campaign first. But the job creation directly is not enormous, but it does create a lot of economic opportunities as projects go through that investment cycle. And what I'd highlight particularly as new projects are being built offshore is if infrastructure for those offshore projects is built in Trinidad, which is something which we have seen that happening through TOFCO in the Brew. That does create jobs in that community, and it's then the spin-off jobs around that industry. So there's a lot of subcontractors who then will work for TOFCO, and that creates a lot of economic activity in that area. So that's all good, if that can happen. And then the other point about it is that we need these projects to create the natural gas which goes into our Point Lisas industrial estate, and those petrochemical plants. And the industries around those petrochemical plants are actually where a lot of the jobs come from. So keeping that petrochemical industry in Point Lisas and Atlantic in Point Fortin and CGCL plant in La Brea, keeping all of those industries going is important for that downstream job creation. What you'll see in that sector, in the petrochemical sector, is that during normal running operations, there's not a huge numbers of jobs on the plant, but then when they shut down, as they do periodically every couple of years for a major maintenance project, that then creates thousands of job opportunities in the Point Lisas area in particular. So it's important that is maintained, and that gives the contractors who work on those maintenance projects that continued business activity.
Well, Dr. Driver, I guess all this is happening in a time of uncertainty, especially in the Caribbean waters far south. Of course, we know of the geopolitical uncertainty and the buildup of military might. Now, obviously, we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty and details of that. That's a different conversation. But I just want to find out, based on what's happening, and I know we are all looking on, and we want, obviously, it to just remain military posturing and more or less a flexing of military muscle. Engagement is not good for anyone anywhere in the world. But what does that scenario, does it create any fall-off at all, any uncertainty within the energy sector? Or what are energy heads saying when they look at that particular development?
Well, I think, like everybody, there's always a concern about if there's any political risk, and particularly if it's moving into any sort of military activity. That's something which everyone will continue to be concerned about. Obviously, we'd had quite a lot of ongoing discussions with Venezuela about importing natural gas from Venezuela, and those things obviously now seem to, those moving forward in the short term may be challenged. We continue to think that in the medium to long term, there's major opportunities for Trinidad and Tobago with relations with Venezuela, and just we hope that those will improve over time.
For sure. So the budget wish list, as we look to wrap things up, what would you like to hear once this budget is read? And many suspect it's going to be as soon as next Monday. Again, we're not too sure. The date is not given just yet. But what's your budget wish list through the lens of the energy sector?
So the biggest thing that we're looking for is changes to the taxation regime, the fiscal regime, to encourage investment in the upstream oil and gas industry. There are a lot of small gas and oil fields in our shallow waters onshore Trinidad, which would benefit from changes to the fiscal regime. These are fields which are there, which have been discovered, but are not economically feasible with the current structure. So some changes to that structure, which doesn't mean less tax dollars for the government, by the way. It means more tax dollars for the government, because if those fields are developed, then you have the production and then you're taxing it. When those fields are left, as they are at the moment, stranded, we get zero revenue from them. Some changes to royalties, to something called the supplemental petroleum tax, and to capital allowances. Those are the things which would allow these projects to become financially viable, and we'd see then more of these small shallow water projects being developed. So that is crucial. On the renewable side, I think we sort of perhaps skipped over that a bit too quickly. We continue to really hope that we will see some further developments with renewable energy. We think that there needs to be some changes to the legislation to allow small-scale solar to come into the system as well. The more electricity for the domestic market which we can generate from renewable energy, the more natural gas we make available to the petrochemical industry. That helps with jobs. It helps with business activity, and it helps with foreign exchange. So we really think that we need to have that focus on renewables as well, to displace natural gas from the domestic electricity sector and make that natural gas available to our exporting sectors to earn foreign exchange. There's also some perhaps quite technically complicated changes we're looking for, or at least some announcements that they're being worked on, which would help Trinidad and Tobago exports to the European Union and the UK in the context of these new carbon border adjustment mechanisms. It would help us be able to adapt to those trade measures which have been put in place in those markets, and would allow Trinidad and Tobago to collect that revenue rather than it being collected in the EU and the UK, as is going to happen now if we don't make the changes. So we're also looking for changes there. So those are the three major things I'd say: encouraging upstream investment, changes to the tax regime to allow us to collect revenue here in Trinidad and Tobago rather than the EU, and then some things around renewable energy, just to really see how we're going to advance renewables and also energy efficiency, reduce the amount of natural gas being used in the domestic electricity sector.
Dr. Driver, as always, sincere thanks. I'm sure we will get a chance to touch base post-budget 2025-2026. So I anticipate we'll probably talk within the week and a half, 2 weeks. All the best, and we'll touch base soon.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, Dr. Dax Driver, the CEO and president of, the Energy Chamber of Trinidad and Tobago. We take a quick pause. Again, we got the 7 a.m. news update, but we got some housekeeping to do before we get to that. So catch you around the bend. Taking a short pause and we come right back.
At Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, we are committed to providing quality products for all major building projects. Let's build together with rebars and beams, BRC coils and mats, RHS and angles, roofing sheets and purlins, lumber, plywood and MDF. Bagwansing's, building homes, building communities, building TNT for over 60 years. Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, building value every day.
Okay, I see you. Okay, let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you rock off, shake off. Let me see you rock off. Let me see you kick right, now kick left, now step forward, now step back. Lucozade, bring the energy.
Ladies, Stay Free is now carefree with the same trusted protection. Available nationwide in overnight maxi, ultra thin super with wings, and ultra thin regular wingless. Enjoy up to 100% protection, instant absorption, and 8-hour odor control, day or night. Feel fearless. Get yours today.
Would you recommend this product to younger people?
Age doesn't really matter. So I think if I was 17, 18 and I get introduced to these products, I would maybe be Superman. So
more Superman?
More Superman.
Absolutely outstanding.
Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. Big savings with our road hazard warranty on Dunlop 2021 Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Pleasance Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
Ready to discover the tastiest spots in Trinidad and Tobago? Restaurant Week is here from September 26th to October 5th with 100 participating restaurants across Trinidad and Tobago. We've got culinary experiences for every craving without draining your wallet, with prices starting at just $175 TT dollars, all taxes included. Don't miss out. Head to our website and social media pages to explore menus and plan all your food adventures. Come for the food, stay for the flavor.
Getting ready for the 7 a.m. news update. Before that, let's check in with our health tip for today.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth. Inflammation serves as your body's natural defense against threats. But when it lingers, it becomes chronic and can lead to major health issues, including type 2 diabetes. Chronic inflammation affects the body's ability to manage insulin, a hormone crucial for regulating blood sugar. Over time, this inflammation can cause insulin resistance, a key factor in the development of diabetes. Managing blood sugar levels becomes increasingly difficult as insulin resistance grows. This progression not only places a tremendous strain on the body's metabolic system, but also heightens the risk of severe complications such as kidney damage, heart disease, and nerve damage. To reduce the risk of inflammation-related diabetes, it is essential to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Diet plays a pivotal role. Foods low in processed sugars and high in fiber can help reduce blood sugar spikes and inflammation. Incorporating physical activity into your daily routine also helps to stabilize blood sugar and improve insulin sensitivity. Furthermore, managing stress and getting adequate sleep each night are crucial in preventing chronic inflammation. Both excessive stress and lack of sleep can increase inflammation and disrupt blood sugar levels, creating a cycle that further impacts insulin resistance. By understanding the link between chronic inflammation and diabetes, adopting healthier eating habits, staying active, and managing stress, you can help prevent or manage diabetes more effectively. This proactive approach is vital for maintaining overall health and preventing further complications. This health tip was brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong. Celebrity Health Secrets with Giselle Laurent.
I have found that together with exercising, getting enough sleep, and a diet rich in omega-3s can definitely help you live a healthier and happier life. Omega XL provides pure, powerful, potent care.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Where health is wealth. Up next, we get ready for the 7 a.m. news update. We come back with your calls. Our digipreneur, he's back, Karen Rose. Conversations on cancer later on. Dr. Vasant will join us. And again, action-packed. Action-packed second hour ahead. See you soon.
People come to me and they say they get discomfort when they have ice cream. Sensodyne gives you long-lasting protections against sensitivity. I recommend Sensodyne because it works. It's brilliant.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800 TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
Need to upgrade to a better phone system? Contact the experts at Voice Outsourcing. In office or remote, our phone system allows you to take every call. Grow your bottom line by offering excellent customer service. Call 217-1895 or 628-8182 or email today.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
Food Basket. Food Basket, nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. For everyday low price, things real nice. Come in once, but to come back twice. Wholesale, retail, everything for you. A real much I wanna shop fair go view. Food Basket, the nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. Food Basket.
Marketplace Shop Floor, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
Well, we actually have a little time before we get to the news, so I'm back with you before we officially pull the curtains down on our #1. Again, just a quick reminder of ways you can contact us. Let me just put that out there early. Feel free to send an email, something nice, concise, to the point. You're sending it to tmv@cnc3.co.tt. That's our email address. Send it. Yes? Let's move across now to the social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, X, at CNC3 News, at CNC3 Television, at CNC3 TV, #TMB. That's right. Very active, especially the Instagram. I get lots of details there. Something goes down, I guess we verify the stories and we put it out. And that's what we do also with the mobile app. If you don't have it on your smartphone by now, I don't know what keeping you back. Download. It's a must-have on your smartphone. You get all your verified breaking news and, of course, your content. It's on demand. It's the mobile app. CNC3 mobile app. Get it today. Again, programming details, the full works. Make it happen. Let's move across to the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. 108 years of legacy. 108 years of bringing you the news, Trinidad and Tobago. Stay on top of all what's happening with your business stories, sport, life page, the opinion column, the editorial. Oh my goodness. Visit guardian.co.tt today to enjoy the Guardian on your desktop, your tablet, your smartphone. That's right. Up next, as promised, your 7 a.m. news update. See you after.
Good morning, I'm Ryan Beach with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. In the capital, one of the city's most iconic food hubs has fallen silent. The Breakfast Shed, a waterfront landmark for decades, has closed its doors under the weight of mounting debt. But this morning we learn that Udicott never served any eviction notices.
As I say, we never evicted them, never. As far as we're concerned, come up with your money and you could continue renting. I can't say in terms of payment plan and so on, but the thing is, if people would have been paying their rent, we wouldn't have any so people not paying their rent.
Chief Secretary Fali Augustine is defending his decision to have 2 secretaries in the Tourism Division, insisting he has done nothing wrong. Augustine said the THA Act gives him the power to reassign or split responsibilities among secretaries and that his actions are within the law. 2 weeks ago, Augustine assigned Education Secretary Zarisha Hackett to serve as a secretary with Tashia Boris in the Tourism Division. Former Chief Secretary Ansel Dennis accused Augustine of breaking the law, but the Chief Secretary dared Dennis to bring a legal challenge.
I assigned and reassigned the duties
as I deemed it necessary for ensuring the proper functioning of the Tobago House of Assembly. And that is my right in law. There is nothing illegal about that.
Plans on how the government will move forward with the CPEP, URP and reforestation programs will be revealed in the budget. In June, government terminated over 300 contracts. Mere days later, 4,600 workers and contractors from the National Reforestation and Watershed Program were fired. Then in September, government suspended the Unemployment Relief Program, claiming corruption in all three make-work programs. This is what Minister of Rural Development and Local Government Khadija Amin had to say when asked when these programs could be restarted.
I am certain you'll hear more of that in the budget and as we roll out the new programs. URP falls directly under Ministry of Local Government now. CPEP is in Public Utilities. Reforestation is in the Ministry of Agriculture. But what I can tell you in URP, what we are doing now, we are doing audits, we are doing investigations, we are in the process of providing people with their termination letters, and that process will continue to make us ready for the new financial when we go in with the new structure.
Those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update for you on the TBC Radio Network at 8 a.m.
Welcome back. It's hour number 2, a chance for us to touch base. Open forum time. The lines are indeed all set. Just give me a call. Let me know what's happening on your end, what's on your mind. If there's any particular concern in your area, this is your chance to get it out there. 624-8721 and 627-8658. So many times, recommendations from the calls and even those who would, under our posts, or even they will send an email with a particular concern. We try to treat with it as soon as possible. Shogunas, good morning.
A pleasant morning to you, Jason.
Good morning, my partner. Go right ahead, man. I'm listening.
All right, here's what. I would like to congratulate the Prime Minister on a speech well put together, right? And she spoke from her heart, I believe, because she is much more of a genuine person than what we had before. And even Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles could see that, right? What I am saying here is that we need to come out and speak the truth and say as to exactly what is going on, right, within the Caribbean. If it is that we are not getting the help from the fellow CARICOM members like Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and even Jamaica, right, they clearly have their agenda. These things, as for where Venezuela is concerned, as for where cocaine, as for where guns, as for where different things are coming in, it's not coming into their country. I'm not saying that they don't have it there, but it's not coming into their country directly. So we have to deal with this issue. Clearly, Jason, there is a race factor involved here because the majority, I would say over 50% of the Guyanese population, right, and you could do the research yourself, at present, is of East Indian ethnicity, right? Now, if these things are taking place, right, within Guyana, we have to stand for Guyana. They are not standing for Guyana because they have nothing of interest as for where this is concerned. But I will tell everyone who is thinking about going to Venezuela and thinking that Venezuela is the better scheme of things than Trinidad, right? Well, it's better you all take all your things and go to Venezuela because clearly you all see what is going on in our country, all right? So I would like to congratulate the Prime Minister, right, on speaking the truth and saying us exactly what is going on. You see, I'll tell you something, Jason. Baffle them with bull, they will take that any day. Love them with lies, they'll take that any day. But the day you tell somebody the truth, they want to kill you. And as for where the opposition is concerned, Jason, I'm going to tell you something. You ever know when we was growing up, it have a dance, and certain people really supposed to be in the dance, right? And somebody else not so really supposed to be, they don't mind they get an invite. And they just stand up across you and calling out people, right? Let me tell you something. I never see, come see, like what I see what the opposition do when they went to the UN. Honestly speaking, right? Jason, you have a good day. Take care.
All the best. I mean, in all fairness, the opposition leader was a UN ambassador, and she was invited to speak at 7 events. So that's why she was there. I don't think she went there to storm or was on, trying to get in people's business. And I'll just, well, let me go to Santa Cruz first, and I'll just come with another point based on what Shogunas would have mentioned. And Shogunas, thanks as always for the commentary, man. Santa Cruz, good morning.
Yeah, morning, Jay, morning. I just want to make two brief comments. One is the whole question of the closing of the breakfast shed. Mm-hmm. And I believe that that the people who actually operate within the breakfast shed are not really the people to blame for that cost overrun in terms of owing money for rental money. I believe the whole question of the management of Udicott is who responsible for the nonsense. Because if you put a system in place whereby you collect your rental on time, and you could give people a little leeway with a month or two because of maybe economic challenges, but you cannot allow it to run so far. What I would recommend is that the people who operate within the breakfast shed, that you call and have a conversation with them and give them an opportunity in terms of how they make the various payments and continue to keep the breakfast shed operating, because that has existed for many, many years. And I think the approach in terms of it should have been given an opportunity rather than it closed down totally. You understand me?
Well, let me tell you, Santa Cruz, I mean, I understand what you're saying here, but for a bill to run up in the millions, we're talking 1.8. I mean, clearly somebody dropped the ball. And I think, it's unfortunate because I myself used to enjoy. I used to go breakfast shed, Santa Cruz, when it was the old wooden building. You remember when
the old one, right?
Remember the old original breakfast shed? Right, and then they upgraded to this fancy this fancy building, and then, when I saw the news yesterday, I was heartbroken.
My next point too is
but it's business, Santa Cruz. If you don't pay a rent, Santa Cruz, chances are the people will have to tell you to depart. That's just unfortunately, it's.
Yeah, my next point is Dr. Mayhew and his consistent use of language may more turn out to be more racial than anything else, because to question the leader of the opposition presence in the UN conference, I think he needs to understand that the UN, United Nations, doesn't belong to the UNC. And the United Nations can invite any organization that is so see fit to the United Nations conference. Because I can tell you where I stand here. I attended United Nations Conference in 1986 in Stockholm in the old Parliament building by virtue of being a representative of the World Assembly of Youth. They invited us there, and I was given the privilege to be chairman of a transnational committee in charge of drugs in what you call the Golden Triangle. So I think he is out of place. He continued to be out of place, and I was very happy when the Prime Minister said, I do not share his views, ditching him because he has been talking nonsense for a very long time, and it's time people call in and stop such nonsense, because the only fanning a flame of fire in terms of trying sort of a race approach, and he doesn't understand where a race war would lead. Thank you. This is Mr. Santa Cruz signing off.
All the best, Santa Cruz. All the best, Santa Cruz. Thank you so much. Yeah, that situation in the breakfast shed is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. I'll try to get some more details to share with you by tomorrow. Let's head to Arima. Good morning, Arima. Arima, good morning. Arima, you live? I guess Arima is, we're not getting through, so let's move on. Again, 624-8721, 627-8658. My concern in terms of hearing you, Shagwana, sir, but I'm thinking that when you have a neighbor, despite the difference, I think there needs to be consultation and a way to work it out. So I don't want us to go down this road of, looking at Venezuela and through a certain lens and in one light, and they're looking at us also in one light. I think there needs to be that coming together at some point. Let's head to Saparia. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Jason.
Welcome. I'm listening.
Jason, what is going on in the health sector at all? I went Point Fortin Hospital, and I did a mammogram in July. They told me to collect the results the 31st of September. Look.
That's tomorrow?
The 31st. I went and got a mammogram in August. They tell me collect it in September.
No. Can be September? No, can be 31st of September? They have no 31st of September? They put 31st of September?
The 31st of August, they told me collect the results.
Because I am all getting confused. I wonder how September over 31st. So what went on? You got the results?
August. Mm-hmm. And every time I go back, I went back twice. They told me somebody from San Fernando, a doctor from San Fernando.
But hold on, that's a kind of weird day because that day would have been a Sunday, the 31st of August. Normally you could get results on a Sunday?
No, but that is what I thought. But I went back to the hospital twice after that. And they told me that a doctor from San Fernando has to sign it off before I collect the results.
Ooh, that's plenty run around because that date was a bit suspicious because obviously the 31st is a Sunday. Normally you'll have to go like during the week, which would have taken you now to the 1st of September. And that's why when they mentioned the 31st of September, I thought it was a typo because I also got confused. I want to know, well, how come September of 31 days? So it was August. You know what? Stay on top of them, Saparia. Stay on top of them. Keep pressuring them. And if there's any issue before the end of the week, call us back and we'll probably see what we could do from our end. Yeah, thanks a lot, Saparia. I mean, that's unfortunately what happens sometimes. Go for a test. It's a long wait to get the result. It's a bit frustrating for many. Let's start with Diego Martin this morning. Good morning, Diego Martin.
Good morning, Jason and all your lovely listeners.
Welcome.
I want to big up CNC3 for interviewing the Prime Minister on her trip from New York to D.C. on a train.
No, I think honestly, I feel that was probably something internal because Akash is actually on his way back today. So when I saw the interview on the train, I honestly feel that could have been something more internal because I saw that
No, what I'm bigging up you all carried it. No other station carried it.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you all was the genesis of it. What it tells me, humility, thrift. Actions speak louder than words. We had two former prime ministers, executive jet flying, want to buy jets and things like that. You remember those things? You remember when Keith Rowley and I think Gonzalez in Guyana, American Airlines, refused to give them the respect they're supposed to have gotten. They talk about executive jet. So the Prime Minister is saying, hey, we don't have money, it was squandered. I'm going to use thrift and humility as the attributes to my leadership. The other thing that is coming out of the big decision in the appeal court with respect to COVID, we know no number one. I hope Terrence Diazing is crying now because that judgment has caught me looking at my wallet to see how much money as a taxpayer I have to fork out to pay these people because of the mismanagement of Stuart Young, Keith Christopher Rowley, the CMO, etc. That is a telling judgment where people were discriminating. Remember, there was a whole allegation. A transport minister, his daughter came back in with a dog, and you left citizens out of the country who was scrambling to survive are going to have a nice morning, Jason.
All the best, Diego Martin. By all means, listen, it's open forum. I give people a chance to express themselves. Sometimes I will jump in. Sometimes I just let it be us. And this morning was a let it be morning. Yeah? Up next, our digipreneur. Karen Rose, he joins us. We're going to get some details about his adventure in China. You know, we didn't see Karen for quite a while, so he'll give us the latest. The Digipreneur is up next.
For those who try Omega XL and they say it didn't work, try it again.
Whatever I was using, this Omega is the best.
Remember, you deserve the best. Choose Omega XL, a supplement that I can assure you is committed to helping you live a long life and a strong life.
Live long, stay strong
with Omega XL.
Available nationwide. Visit your local pharmacy or health food store today.
Get the best at Southern Food Basket. Gala apples, 10 for $20. Garlic, $9.95 per pound. Lentils, 2 pounds, $13.95. Split peas, 2 pounds, $7.95. No-name bathroom tissue, 24s, 2 bales, $89.95. Fiesta peas and carrots, 3 for $19.95. Fiesta dry pigeon peas, 3 for $23.95. Richport oil, 3 liters, $39.95. Available at Southern Food Basket at St. Charles Village, Princesstown, SS Erin Road, Pinal, Southern Main Road, Point Fortin, Coffee Street, San Fernando.
People come to me and they say they get discomfort when they have ice cream. Sensodyne gives you long-lasting protections against sensitivity. I recommend Sensodyne because it works. It's brilliant.
Tile Depot Diwali sale on now. Stunning floors at dazzling prices. 12 by 12, $750. 17 by 17, $975. 18 by 18, $995. 20 by 20, $15.95. And 22 by 22, only $20. Visit Tile Depot Limited today at Banyan Chase Village. Call 234-4402.
Have no fear, the Digipreneur is here. Karen Rose joins us after quite a little. We didn't touch base for clearly a minute, but I'm happy. I'm happy you're back with us. From what I'm seeing, you would have been in China. You had a 2-week adventure with tech and culture. So you would have been busy.
Listen.
Yeah.
Busy as joke, Jason. Busy as joke.
So
we had No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, back to China twice in a year. That is tremendous.
Yeah, no, this trip was definitely one for the books. So this trip was brought together by the Chinese Diplomacy Association, and it was an extremely important reason as to why we were brought down there. So what they did was this program brought together about 40 content creators and journalists and just people of influence in their respective spaces. And they brought them down to China. And basically what China is doing is China is going through a completely national and global rebrand, right? So with this new rebrand that China is going through, they know they have far advanced in almost every aspect of society. And they know that Western media will never give them the coverage that they would never give them their just due coverage. So they brought down 40 people from LATAM and the Caribbean, and we were able to have this tour for 16 days throughout multiple provinces and cities in China to experience the history, the culture, the technology, and actually see the real version of China. And then we were able now to go and kind of disseminate and really showcase all of our people across our platforms, what we are experiencing in China and so forth. So it was extremely amazing 16 days. And we were up from about 5 o'clock in the morning all the way down to 10 o'clock at night. We were coming back into the hotels. So that's just to tell you how packed and active we were for those days.
Wow. What was your biggest takeaway? Because I know you always talk about the tech, but I know there are certain cities that definitely lean to the technology. Is it something that you saw across the board, or did you get a chance to see rural China? What was your greatest takeaway? What was your most lasting memory from the 2 weeks out there?
So they brought us to cities that were specialized. So our journey started off in Beijing. We went over to provinces called Anhui. We went over to a wide variety of cities and provinces, right? One of my favorites was Hangzhou. Now, my biggest takeaway was not even so much the technology, but it was the mindset of the people themselves, because we were brought into multiple universities, we were brought into temples, right? And it doesn't matter who you spoke to, what city, what province, everybody knows their history, and all of China is on the same page about the one goal that they all share, which is building China. And everybody's doing it in that regard. So if you were somebody that was in the culture side, where you were an opera singer, you were part of a production, when you talk to these people, they understand the history, they understand their role. When we were brought into universities and we were talking to 18-year-olds who are building businesses, or they were also content creators and they have these massive platforms as well, when you talk to them and you understand, what their goals are, what their passions are, what they're trying to pursue, they're so grounded in 1,000 years worth of history. These people are not just quoting Confucius or quoting Buddha or quoting some of their philosophers. These people are living their philosophies, and you can see it in their every day of life. So my biggest takeaway for me was just seeing how many people across multiple cities, provinces, different industries, everybody is working towards one goal, which is building Mother China. That was my biggest takeaway.
What lessons do you think we could apply to the Trinidad and Tobago experience based on your trip?
Oh, our best friends need to be China. Our best friends need to be China, because you know what? Right now, China has become the manufacturing capital of the world. They've become the trading capital of the world. One of the places that we went to that I think is I have to go back there, and I'm actually booked to go back again in a couple of weeks. So this is going to be a third time in China for the year. It's about to be crazy. There is a city called Yiwu, Y-I-W-U. That is the city I need every single Trinbagonian to Google or jump on ChatGPT and understand. China's a very big place for manufacturing, for textiles, for supply chain, for logistics. Anything you need, China's a very big place, and China can be overwhelming to get started. What they've done is they have built the world's largest trading city in Yiwu, and they're about to launch their global digital trade center. And this is a massive city where basically it's like the storefront of China. So rather than having to go around to all the different provinces, you would start your journey in Yiwu, Y-I-W-U, Yiwu City. You start your journey there, you're going to meet all of the people in business and manufacturing, you name it, you'll meet everybody there. And once you meet them there, then that could take you to other parts of China. But Yiwu is a city that we need to understand. That way we as Trinidad and Tobago can tap into all of the business opportunities and that China has to offer from that city.
Well, I'm watching it right now. There's a wholesale market apparently there that you could go in and get your ball rolling.
Largest in the world. Largest in the world. Largest in the world.
Is it so? Okay, communication. Is it that you have to use apps to translate? Is it that the folks? I mean, I guess you were probably able to learn a couple Mandarin words, but the residents, those who live in China, could they speak the language of business, English? Do they have English?
Let me tell you something, Jason. I love that question because China's playing 5D chess. The rest of the world is playing snakes and ladders. The government has been pushing the Chinese business community to learn 3 languages. Obviously, your mother tongue is Mandarin, but they're pushing all business owners to learn English and learn Spanish because those are the 2 most spoken languages in the world. Now that they're offering free classes, right? They offer free classes to learn these languages. You're going to meet more business people who absolutely speak Spanish or English, or they have a translator. But then there's also they also have the apps that you could use that'll translate for if you do run into a situation where you're speaking to someone that does not speak English. But then the other thing is that they have so many people who are kind of like middlemen who understand China but understand your language and your particular market, and they can work with you as the agent on the ground and their entire job is to help you build your business, but they take care of everything on the China back end, so you're only dealing with them. So there are companies, multi-billion-dollar companies that is all they do. They're just the middleman to ensure you get exactly what you need, and they are the boots on the ground for you in China.
Wow, interesting. So, again, obviously being out there, getting a chance again to embrace the culture, the sights, the sounds, is it that everywhere you went, because you went to different parts now, is it the same that applies when it comes to paying for, let's say, basic items, a water, a little food? You're using your phone, no physical cash you could use in YU, that wholesale market. Could you use, let's say, US currency?
So you could use cash, right? You could absolutely use cash, right? And I'll repeat this for everybody. There's nowhere in the world that is cashless, right? There's no country in the world, there's no city in the world that is cashless. However, even though there is cash, the people themselves choose not to use cash, right? So it's the same thing in China. If you have cash, they're taking your cash. But there are so many different payment options that people just do not use cash as a choice. It's not that they're forced and there's nothing cashless, but it's a choice. So let me give you a good example. You have a lot of unmanned convenience stores. You have a lot of unmanned vending machines littered throughout China. Right now, they're getting into robotic pharmacies where there's going to be no humans in the pharmacies. It'll be all robots taking your prescriptions and grabbing your exact medication and doing all these things, right? When you are using the applications like an Alipay or a WeChat Pay, and we have access to that in Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean, right? Each and every one of us downloaded Alipay or WeChat Pay before we went over to China. We set it up and it was pulling directly from either our bank cards or credit cards. Trinidad, for you, would just be credit cards, right? But you're adding your credit card and you're making these payments. And once you have these applications, everything is happening within seconds, right? Within milliseconds. You're using your phone to open up unmanned convenience stores, unmanned pharmacies. You're making payments with your phone. I know one of the biggest concerns is that people always think, well, what if battery power runs out? A video that I'm going to be dropping this week is showcasing there are literal mobile power bank stations everywhere in China. You will never run out of juice in China because there's mobile power bank stations where you can go and rent a power bank and get that, and they're everywhere, or there's mobile charging stations everywhere. So that even when people on our trip, where batteries were dying, I was like, man, just go in the washroom, there's a power bank station. And they rented a mobile power bank, and they got it right in the bathroom stations of restaurants we were at. So it's easy to use your phone and your watch for everything in China because they've planned for all of the situations with battery power and outages as well.
Karen, you felt safe out there?
One of the safest places in the world. And the funniest thing is when people, because everybody was from Latin America and the Caribbean, they kept asking, because we were with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the most part, right? They would keep asking, hey, is this city safe? Is this city safe? And they used to just laugh and they're like, you're not in the West anymore. You're in China. You're in Asia. You're in one of the safest places ever. You can walk the street at any point in time. The women in our groups are walking the streets at all hours of the night, whether it was just to go to the grocery store or the late night cravings to the supermarket. You can go anywhere in China. And one of the things that I love that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs had said to us was that the only people in China with guns are the police and the army. Nobody else needs a gun, which is one of the reasons why, violent crime just is very, very low in China. And then people believe in karma. People have something to believe in, so they don't really jeopardize these things. And it's the same in Thailand, right? So you're very safe when you come out to China. You're very safe when you come out to Thailand.
Wow, Karen Rose, I would love to hear so much more. I guess we could always have a part two and definitely, keep us in the loop with all the happenings, with your adventures out there in the Far East. Again, Karen, be safe. All the best and God's spare. We touch base again next week.
Absolutely. Everybody's saying this. If anybody, I'm having a workshop this weekend. It's on digital monetization streams. If you've been thinking about monetizing your platforms to 2026, go to KarenRose.com, look for the upcoming webinar section, and go check out that webinar. We're going to a nice workshop this weekend. So check it out on my website. And we'll touch base next week and we'll talk more China because I have a lot to unpack.
Of course, definitely. I look forward. Karen Rose, all the best, man. Our digipreneur, touching base. The reason, obviously, you didn't see him for a minute. He was out there in China on the road, making moves, living his best life. Karen, thank you so much. Let's get ready to dive into another conversation on cancer. We touch base with Dr. Vasant Basdio, We are dealing with lifestyle and cancer this morning, a very important conversation ahead.
Panadol's new formula, 5 times faster than other paracetamol brands. There's no time to waste during special moments. When I need fast pain relief, I choose Panadol Rapid. With its new formula and exclusive technology, it's 5 times faster than other paracetamol, giving me effective pain relief. And it's also gentle on my stomach. Because my greatest gift is giving them special moments.
You can make your goals unfold, go get it. You can live your dream, join the team, let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Rand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve it. Big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Rand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Whether you're an athlete, a business professional, or simply someone who values their health, Omega XL can empower you to keep doing what you love. Don't let joint discomfort hold you back.
Live long, stay strong with the XL brand.
Muscle Russell.
Conversations on cancer this and every Tuesday. Director at the TNT Cancer Society, Dr. Vasant Basdio, joins me on the Zoom line. Dr. Basdio, great to see you as always. Good morning.
Good morning, Jason. Always a pleasure to be here, and good morning to all listening and viewing public at large.
Indeed, we're dealing with lifestyle and cancer, and I want to start things off immediately to establish what, based on your experience, what aspect of our lifestyle really brings it on the most? Would you say diet that is unchecked? Would you say substance abuse? Is it treating with environmental factors? What's been your observation through your years being in the medical field?
So in my humble 12, 13 years in experience, it's not a one thing that causes cancer or one thing that you can do to prevent cancer. It's a multifaceted approach, meaning that there are many things that contribute to our lifestyle. Similarly, the way we start our day is different from how our lunchtime might look, how our evening would look as well. So in this fight against cancer, this lifestyle approach must be multi-pronged. So it's not just one thing, like if you have a Best Buy. Now, in terms of the Best Buy, the one thing you can absolutely do in terms of a lifestyle to prevent cancer is to quit smoking or never smoke at all. And that's not just smoking, but tobacco products. So tobacco on the whole, whether it's the cigarettes, the cigars, these hookahs, or any type of substance, even chewing tobacco that has tobacco in it. Tobacco is the #1 cause of cancer in the world. So that's one thing. But Jason, you touched on many things, and it's really that all-rounded holistic approach to our lifestyle that includes our diet, our exercise, the food that we eat, as I mentioned, also things like exposures in our environment, things like our vaccinations as well to help protect against cancer. So these are the things that we can touch on this morning as we talk to the common man on the street about ways we can prevent ourselves from actually getting cancer in the first place.
Well said. And I want to touch on those sometimes low-income families. Now, we all would have come from everyone, whether it be in their lifetime or their grandparents or great-grandparents. We all at some point in time would have come through the struggle, and many are going through it as we speak. And I wonder, decisions made in that particular sector, especially when it comes to diet and food and some of the choices made. Now, I remember I grew up down country, Doc, and I grew up organic. I remember I deal with the provisions and the fish, and And I mean, thankfully, a CD foundation, it was a good foundation. I'm still, holding on to that today. But the reality is, I've seen many, based on their circumstance, go a particular direction when it comes to diet, and also lean towards substances because they're stressed out. And the substance that might give you the temporary ease will have long-lasting implications, especially to your health.
Yeah, Jason, next time I'm asking you the questions because you hit it on the nail there. Growing up in communities down in Erie, in Palo Seco, and where we grew up to as well, eating natural products. So the idea is now to eat things that are grown or sourced nearby. So anytime something is processed, has a long shelf life, a lot of additives, preservatives, we find that the risk of cancer is increased with those types of foods. So we encourage persons to go back to plant-based diets that are fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes. These are things that are rich in natural antioxidants. And when it comes to our meats, try to source your meats for the non-vegetarians out there from your local sources, things that aren't processed or preserved. So those smoked meats, those sausages, the bacons, the red meats especially as well, those processed meats. We try to go more natural from your local poultry, your local fish vendors. These are the meats that persons who do eat meat, we say that try to avoid those processed meats. And you talk about the low income bracket, and that's something that I empathize with a lot because so many patients come in and they say, look, eating healthy is so expensive now. It's cheaper to buy a pack of bread and a tin of sausage and all that. You make ends meet. And that's something we have to really be mindful as a country and how we look out for our neighbors. Go back to the days of sharing, your fruits, your bearings as well too with your underprivileged in society and stuff like that. Because diet alone is a very high risk factor. It's something that we are seeing that things like red meats, especially processed meats, are causative agents of colorectal cancer. And colorectal cancer, as we know, in both men and women, is the third leading causes of cancer and mortality here in Trinidad and Tobago. So just diet alone is something we can focus on.
Would you say our lifestyle in Trinidad especially, even though we're on an island, right? I have to remind myself sometimes that, we live on an island, but it's so fast-paced. Even our friends from north of us, we're talking here St. Vincent, Grenada.
Yes.
Our friends from Dominica, when they come here, they and all are sometimes, taken aback as the kind of pace that we are on here in Trinidad. You go to Tobago, you feel the difference. It's a little more relaxed, a little more easy. Do you think that the kind of fast lifestyle, the Trinidad experience could kind of lean towards people making sometimes decisions that could cause problems down the road?
No, certainly, Jason, because, we have to go back to island living, island life. I was on a dive trip in Tobago recently in August there. And I was like, this is what we need more of, a little salt therapy. We need to be at, in our nature, in our waterfalls, in our beaches, out in nature, taking things slow and make this part of our routine. You see, one of the things I've seen in lifestyle is consistency is a big part of lifestyle. It's never going to be, just before Carnival, 3 months, I shape up, and that's it. For the rest of the year, we go back to that unhealthy lifestyle. The persons who do well, who have observed, when an elderly person walks into my clinic, Jason, my ears, my antennas go up, those 90-year-olds tripping in the office, any sort of disability and thing. I listen carefully, and what I realized is that these persons have consistently maintained a healthy lifestyle, going for a daily walk. Part of their diet is a certain way, they avoid certain things. And you touched on something there with the substances. Tobacco and alcohol are two cancer-causing agents. And the thing is, for many of us or many persons who do indulge in alcohol, the idea here is to moderate that drink. For women, that is 1 drink per day, or for men, no more than 2 drinks per day. And in any setting, in less than 2 hours, trying not to have 3 or 4 drinks in that setting. So we have to find ways to get that ease. And it's when we don't have that ease, that's when unease and dis-ease comes into the body, And that disease is what all of us trying to find ways to get that ease. Now, if we find unhealthy ways to get that ease, yeah, you'll get the ease in that moment. But in the long run, that's going to cause a disease in your body, and that could lead to things like non-communicable diseases, which includes cancer.
Let me ask, when, sometimes, again, this is going based on your experience, someone gets that wake-up call, they get that shocking news, and they've made up their mind to fight. And, we have seen via this Conversation on Cancer program, many get over the line once you have the right mindset, the right medical team. We have seen people defeat cancer. But based on that shocking news, based on that revelation, many would change their lifestyle. Have you seen, with that change of lifestyle after any kind of major shocking news, that consistency you speak of, you've seen people kind of just make a full 180? Yeah. They've maintained their health?
And it's one of the things that we in family medicine specialists, we try to implement something called behavioral change. And the thing is, when someone is hit with a diagnosis, that's a real psychological blow to that individual, And many times, that's when we get that willpower from within to say, here, I'm going to get up and do 150 minutes of exercise a week. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to avoid all the unhealthy substances, tobacco, alcohol. And they have a serious improvement in their health, many times going on to cure and overcome cancer and cure other non-communicable diseases. But what we're trying to say to Trinidad and Tobago is don't wait for those alarm bells to go off. Don't wait for symptoms. Don't wait for a diagnosis. These things are things that, a healthy lifestyle is something that you can start today. Get active, maintain a healthy weight, eat healthy, avoid all those chemical substances, particularly here in the Caribbean. We talk about island living. That 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. period, wear your sunscreen, wear your long sleeves, be protective, get shade when you go there. And then things like vaccinations against HPV and for like healthcare workers and at-risk workers, hepatitis C. These are the things that really help prevent you from getting cancer in the first place.
Let me ask, Doc, as it pertains to certain professions, of course, we know PPE is important. I remember a guy was doing gypsum by me years ago. No mask, breathing in all the gypsum dust. And I'm saying his name was Pin from Pinal. I said, Pin, what was that? And well, mind you, he's doing all this while smoking a cigarette. I don't know what become a Pin, but he told me he's a hard man. He could handle it. Well, I mean, I guess everybody is different and their mindset and the way they perceive themselves is different. But what advice you want to tell to different folks within certain professions where there might be the likelihood of exposure to different chemicals that could cause cancer so that they could, again, be on top of the PPE?
For sure. So, there are environmental exposures, and this is where our health and safety teams, there's a whole specialty of medicine known as occupational health and safety, and these HSC guys do a wonderful job. There are type 1 carcinogens out there in the environment, things like asbestos, things like lead, things like ionizing radiation, and listening to that story, that's a common thing. The other day I passed in and I see a guy casting and in barefoot in concrete. He have on no mask and a set of dust. And these are the things, Jason, that trigger the cells in our body, the clock, the cycle to go haywire. And that's where this sort of overgrowth multiplication of the cells begin, particularly in our respiratory linings for these exposure to inhaled stuff. Again, persons exposed to ionizing radiation as well have an increased risk of developing cancer. So to Trinidad and Tobago, the workforce out there, have a conversation with your managers, have a conversation in your workspace. Are you being protected? Are there things that you can do to mitigate your risk for cancer development by exposure to these type 1 carcinogens?
Dr. Basdio, as always, a sincere thanks. We'll stick a pin for now. Hopefully we get a chance to expand on some more talking points next week. Stick a pin. No pun intended. Dr. Basdio, all the best.
Always a pleasure being here. All the best to Trinidad and Tobago. Let's get healthy, stay active, and let's fight this cancer together.
For sure, well said. Dr. Vasan Basdio, a very brilliant doctor, young doctor, vibrant. He speaks in a way we could all understand. It's always a joy to have him on the program, indeed. Thank you so much, Doc. Let's end things off after the break and get details concerning the International Days of Elder Persons. Well, International Day, a matter of fact, of elder persons. Another doctor is going to join me, the president of the Geriatric Society of Trinidad and Tobago. Their president and vice president, a matter of fact, will join me on set. See you soon.
Science calls it AMPK, your body's built-in system for burning fat, balancing blood sugar, and fueling energy. Berberine Plus naturally supports AMPK, helping you feel better, live better, be better. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, powerful results naturally.
Do you have multiple loans with high installments? Is that weighing you down? Police Credit Union has the solution for you. Merge all your commitments into one manageable payment, affordable interest rate, and a comfortable loan repayment term. Break free from those shackles with our Free Yourself Debt Consolidation Loan. Let PCU be the key to your financial freedom. Apply for a Free Yourself loan today. All loans are subject to normal lending criteria. Police Credit Union, your future is safe with us.
Get the best at Southern Food Basket. Broccoli, $17.95 per pound. Carrots, 3 packs for $19.95. Iceberg lettuce, $19.95 each. Chicken breast tenders, 5 pounds for $149.95. Chicken wings, 1 kg, $34.95. Swiss pasta cuts, 300 grams, 4 for $19.95. Coke, Fanta, Schweppes, Sprite, 2 liters, 2 for $19.95. Available at Southern Food Basket at St. Charles Village, Princestown, SS Erin Road, Pinal, Southern Main Road, Point Fortin, Coffee Street, San Fernando.
People come to me and they say they get discomfort when they have ice cream. Sensodyne gives you long-lasting protections against sensitivity. I recommend Sensodyne because it works. It's brilliant.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors, and roti makers. Try our high-quality bromate-free, all-purpose, and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg, and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canoopia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Protection that moves to your beat. Protect your home with Armor Security. With 24/7 monitoring, instant alerts, motion sensors, and rapid response, you and your loved ones stay protected day and night. Sign up for the Protector or Commander package today and get a free security camera and installation. Armor Security, powered by Flow, in partnership with All Pro Security. We keep your rhythm flowing. Visit us in-store or online at discoverflow.co for more details.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
The International Day of Older Persons, it's tomorrow, the 1st of October, and it's under the, well, it's sanctioned by the UN. It's a global celebration, and we here in Trinidad and Tobago are doing our part. That's why we welcome the President and Vice President of the Geriatric Society of Trinidad and Tobago, the President, Dr. Tondavada, and the Vice President, Jacqueline Sapga, here with us. President, Vice President, we say welcome. What a very important day. I was telling you all offset that my personal life, my lived reality, getting a chance to embrace the love of a grandmother, being around her friends, Miss Tazi, all the older statesmen and women from the village. I think it served me well. And it's something that I'm very proud of. I'm very happy I've been able to embrace that. And even at this age here, I always, just embrace the knowledge and the wisdom and experience of elders. And I think there is still such a major role and part for them to play. So let me start off with the President to give us some details as to what is in store for tomorrow's celebration? What do you all normally do with the society?
United Nations every year sends some theme, how we're going to celebrate International Older Persons Day, and to implement that, to reach out our elderly population, to bring up their quality of life, and how to implement the policies and upgrade, you know, how we're going to appreciate their services, ongoing activities in a modern world. And this year theme is, this is our invitation, and we shared that in media already, and we have a lot of members coming, and the volunteers will be there, and we have a special guest also will be there tomorrow. And this year theme is older persons driving local and global action, our aspirations, our well-being, our rights. This year theme. This is our invitation.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I'll hold on to it. It's on camera. Let me bring Dr. Sabga in, because I'm looking at the stats, Dr. Sabga, and I'm seeing 551 folks in 1995 would have been 60 and above. We fast forward to 2025, that number has now jumped to 1.2 billion. This is globally.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know, I would imagine this is tremendous news.
It actually is tremendous news. It's tremendous news in the fact that we have survivability that has been extended, and as such, we are really graced and gifted to have our older persons a more integral and longer part in our society. And societies like the Geriatric Society aim to recognize those persons and put value to their contribution into the society and to us and all in general.
You know, when we look at the Trinidad and Tobago experience, and I want us to be frank here, have you seen major improvements in terms of how we treat and deal with the elderly? Because yes, I've seen where, you know, there are lines now in certain institutions for the elderly so they can get service. But I sometimes wonder, and I would imagine there is still some room for improvement.
But of course, as with everything in life, and sometimes it needs a society like the Geriatric Society of Trinidad and Tobago to kind of bring those things to light. Not only the inherent value that we must place on older persons, but how do we help them? What policies can be put into place so that they live a best and productive life? And then in allowing that, they then contribute to us. Our older persons have a great wisdom that I think that the general society needs to tap into. Yeah. And so in celebration of them, the Geriatric Society will have our function this week.
I'm seeing, of course, President Andavada, the invite is here in hand. We're going to put it up on screen. Is there a particular dress code? What's the theme in terms of because you know the elderly, they come out and as they say, they're done.
They wish to, whatever.
All right.
We didn't put any dress code because most of our honoring members are 80 plus. Some of them are 95 above as well. Whatever dress code they likes and they want to come up on the day, we welcome.
Because I was watching the color of the invite, a kind of lavender almost color, so I was wondering if there was a particular theme, there's a particular kind of, you know the elderly, they come out, huh? When they come out, they
absolutely.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, yes, fashion galore. Let me ask, as it pertains to, again, I'm going back to the numbers, would you say this is based on advancement in medical care, just the overall well-being and I guess a global kind of ethos of being able to care and cherish our elders? Because this is a phenomenal number. The fact that in 1995 we had 541 million folks over 60, and now it's 1.2 billion. That's as we said, that's great news.
Certainly is, and I think it is multifactorial. I think that genetics play a part. I think lifestyle plays a part, and you can never underscore when we put value on family. And I think that, you know, certainly Caribbean-based, and again in the world as well, I think we have now kind of re-understood the value of older persons, not only within our nuclear family unit, but within the community and within the world. And I think so attention is being paid to older persons, and with that, we will then see our rising numbers in their survivability.
That's right. How does one become or be part of the society, President? Is that something that somebody could join?
Yes, you can join, and whoever 65 and above, they can join as a members, and we encouraging the young volunteers to join as a volunteership, especially to help out the aged homes. Why means they have to learn a lot from our elderly adult population.
Excellent.
We learned a lot before, but these days we're missing that part. We have to encourage. Since beginning, we encouraging our younger school children who go to secondary schools as well, and they are in the society for the past 2 years, and they keep continuing their services as a volunteer. And some of the volunteers now in the UV, and some of them went abroad, you know. They're still continuing their voluntary services.
Well said, President. Let me probably ask Dr. Sapga to expand. What requirements to join up for the elderly and even for the youngsters? Because I know obviously there must be that desire, the heart. But what else is required?
Really nothing much. We encourage volunteers. So volunteers sometimes want to help with paperwork, sometimes they want to help with administration, and sometimes they want to help with planning and execution and attendance to the events that the Geriatric Society puts on. So anybody who is interested in that, we welcome all the time. And certainly once the elder population is eager to join, we welcome those as well.
You know, I'm looking back at
It's a huge celebration.
It's a huge celebration, and I want to put the information up on screen as we look to wrap things up. I'm looking back at my own life, and when I was around 19, 20, I used to go actually help out Steve Solomon. He's now deceased with St. Vincent de Paul, right there in town with elderly people, and it was something I just did in my free time. So, you know, it's to me, the young people looking on, and even those 60, 65 and above, I implore you to go find the society, you know, join, get details, and more so, be part of the grand gala. It's a grand celebration tomorrow. Put on your Sunday, you know what, we'll call it your Wednesday best.
Wednesday best, that's right.
Put on your Wednesday best and have a time tomorrow. And again, the theme, older persons driving local and global action, our aspirations, our well-being, our rights. How do we contact the society?
You can contact the society online. We have a website online.
ttgeriatrics.org.
Yes.
All the information is available in our website.
Fantastic. Congrats in advance. It's going to be tremendous tomorrow.
I think so too. Thank you so much for having us.
You're
Thank
most
you so
welcome.
much for having us.
That's right. We take the quick pause and we come back to wrap things up. See you soon.
The Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong. You're watching CNC3. The views and opinions expressed in the following program are not necessarily those of CNC3. Unlike